Hi, Misha here, and I'm actually going to record this Blackbox in parts over a few days. As it begins, I'm recording this the night of September the 1st, a Friday. And I don't know when the last recordings will be, but probably sometime around Labor Day or a day or two after. So, I did announce a year ago and even showed some footage of the land that I would be building a cabin and a shooting range. Well, that was the plan. Met with the builder 2-3 times last July and August, and a couple of events outside of anyone's control happened to do with the road getting closed and everything. And then after that, that builder became very, very flaky. Even up till literally New Year's Eve, when I saw him the last time, 2022 to 2023, he was saying, well, next we're going to start on yours. It never happened. And by that point, I knew it wouldn't, because originally he was supposed to start in August or September on mine and never did. Now, he was actually doing work for a family member. That's how I kind of got hooked up with him. Well, he didn't really finish that up, and it didn't go well. So while I'm exceedingly annoyed and disappointed that I wasted a year of my time and the anticipation, I am not upset that I didn't waste money or get halfway through a project and have the guy flake out. An unbuilt cabin or anything is better than a half-built, especially if it's not in the dry. So, throughout this black box, I'm going to be meeting with one potential new builder. At least that's the plan as of now. And I do have another builder lined up vis-a-vis my cousin, although I have not spoken with him directly yet. My plan is to meet with those two and try to work it out again. And if it doesn't work out, I may have to go to drastic measures, as in some kind of prefab home, modular home, or even mobile home. Because one way or the other, having a nice place sounds really good, but having a place at this point is more important. Time's ticking by. And while the summertime wasn't all that attractive to get out there and be in the mountains and go shooting and all that, now that the weather's turning cooler, as I knew it would, it's kind of got me lamenting not having a spot to go to. I mean, I guess in theory I could go there and throw a tent up, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a tent camper. I'm a going to a cabin camper. I've had that my entire life, and the maybe dozen times in my life that I've tried to go tent camping, at least 9 out of those times, bad things happened, from flooding to storms. Just my luck with tents. My main thing is I don't mind getting out during the day, getting dirty, getting hot, getting tired. That doesn't bug me. But at the end of the day, I need 2 things. I need a shower, feel clean, and I need a clean bed. Without those things, I am not a happy camper. Literally. I don't like going to bed dirty, and I cannot go to bed feeling clean unless I've washed off. And that just goes doubly true when you're out in the woods, hot and sweaty. And on top of that, you've got bug spray on you and all that just attracts even more grit and grime on like your legs and stuff. Plus, of course, the bugs, the ticks. The mosquitoes. It's just nice to have a hot, soapy shower to get any creepy crawlies off you or your clothes afterwards. And that's another thing too. I like changing clothes. That doesn't really do much good when you're dirty, even if you have clean clothes in your pack. So, I can do it overnight without too much complaint, but more than that, no thanks. I'm a cabin person. That's just how I am. Now, that said, I'm fine there. I can go rustic. I know how to wash dishes. I know how to do laundry by hand, all that stuff. So that doesn't bug me at all. I also know how to fish and things of that nature. But yeah, not really that interested in a tent. Much more interested in a cabin with the adjoined shooting range. So, yeah, wish me luck on the next guy or two. Hopefully they work out, and if not, if I'm not getting a good feeling when I get back from those meetings, then I might approach, like I said, some other more pre-built options. I mean, anything from a trailer to like those kind of modular Lego-looking homes. We'll see how it goes. I just wanted to drop that in. But I am at least thankful for the cooler weather. I'm sitting outside now. It's actually quite pleasant. Yesterday afternoon, it was actually very nice. Had a nice breeze. But I really like fall, and I hope we get a good fall this year. But I guess time will tell. I'm sure it'll snap warm at least one more time before it does cool off. That just seems to be the nature of September around here. But we made it through August, so only 3 weeks more of summer officially on the calendar, and then we have fall. We'll see how it goes. Everything else is pretty normal. Life, business, family. Gonna see some family, visit with them while I'm meeting with those people down there too. So by the time I publish this video, it'll all be over. But as I'm talking right now, I'm getting my bags packed and taking care of last minute things before heading down. So hopefully when I finish up this video, it's in a positive light and not a negative. But who knows? If anything, the last 2-3 years of life have taught us all not to take anything for granted. So with that, Misha from September 1, handing it over to Misha from... Alright, the update, or at least the first one. The proverb, "May you live in interesting times," is considered more of a curse than a blessing. Although, I understand that. I have to say, I've never quite felt that way. Even bad, interesting times are interesting, at least. And the days since I posted have been definitely full of events and quite memorable. And it all started even before I was able to leave town. So like I said, I recorded the intro Friday night. Saturday started off well. I was wrapping up some stuff at the house, some video stuff. Recorded a pretty fun one that I will publish probably right after this Blackbox, or maybe right before. And did a couple of loads of laundry so I could get it out of the house, partially because I needed clothing, partially just so I don't have to come back home and do laundry. Good times. Everything was going hunky-dory. Now, the plan was to meet this new contractor guy who was doing work for my brother, and he phoned me Saturday night about 7 or 8 p.m. My computer, my desktop, was acting a little squirrely. No big deal. It happens. And so I took his phone call, and as my brother had warned me even before first meeting this guy, he's a talker. So yeah, we chatted on the phone about this and that. I don't mind getting to know someone until about 8 o'clock, or well, I guess about 9 o'clock, because he called 7 or 8, until his phone battery died. So I go back in to get on my desktop. I need to transfer some files over to my laptop for work while I'm traveling, and the desktop doesn't work. And by doesn't work, something broke, and I would later kind of determine, I think it was a Windows update, one of those auto ones, I guess. It might annoy you guys if it were to break, but for my position, it made the computer a brick. The sound quit working. Now, Bluetooth would still work, Bluetooth headphones, but actually the wired speakers, the 3.5-inch jacks stopped working, and front and back. No idea why. As you might imagine, for someone who has zero effective sight, doesn't even have a monitor plugged in most of the time, and uses headphones with a TTS program, a computer that doesn't speak is worse than useless. Worse than useless, because useless would be nothing. Worse would be, hey, computers generate heat and take up power. So, yeah. Again, my Bluetooth headphones worked, but for a few technical reasons, not to mention battery, I can't rely on them all the time. Plus, I don't want to put more wear and tear on them. They were useful in a stopgap, but long term, I had to get the jacks working. It took a ridiculously long time, and apparently others have had issues with this too, with Dell computers, and recently, especially with older things. For 30 years, just plugging in headphones, speakers, what have you, to a computer was just literally plug and play. But with Windows 11, they've overcomplicated the system. Anyway, I tried downloading updates. They first didn't work. In fact, they failed. They went to some things. I tried System Restore back to about a week ago. That didn't fix it. Finally, I downloaded some different updates, including to the drivers and to the wavetables and stuff, and that fixed it. The problem was that ate up hours of my time troubleshooting on a night that I was trying to pack and get out of town. So I wasn't actually able to start really getting my travel bag together until well after midnight. And so instead of getting a good night's sleep before getting on the road, I got a couple hours and yada yada. And I'm going to be honest. I'm amazed I didn't forget something important in the bag. Because even under the best of circumstances, it seems like every time I take a trip, there's always something I forget. But no, I'm pretty sure now I didn't forget anything major, nothing I've noticed. So that was already a inauspicious start. Sunday, traveling. We were going to leave out in the morning, about 10:30. I let everyone know we'd probably get a little late start because of the previous night and just being a little behind. It wasn't too bad. We got on the road about 11:30, so it's fine. Yeah, not too delayed. And the trip down goes uneventful, and we have a pleasant lunch, a good lunch. I even got free cake, Black Forest cake, and not the store-bought kind, the kind made in the restaurant. It's actually a little local Swiss-German place that's been in business for decades. It's really good. They even had some new wine. They're a winery too that we tried, and bought extra bottles, and I gave one away as a gift to Fox and Friends. Not that Fox and Friends, but my cousin Fox. So things are looking up. And then after eating and visiting for a bit, my wife leaves. So I'm at my mother's house, and she has a guy coming over to install a new light ceiling fan fixture in her dining room area. The old light worked, but the fan didn't work, and it was getting old. So, why not replace it with a fan? Yeah. So he comes in there, and he's, just one of the good old boy handyman type, but not an electrician. And he notices that the old light fixture was just kind of hung there. It wasn't screwed in to the rafter, the beam in this room. It's just kind of hanging by, chain and all that. And he thought that was odd, but he said, no, the new one he's going to screw in. So he takes the old one out, puts the new one up, drills screw holes, and I said, you check to make sure there are no wires. And he said, oh, no worries, this is a beam, so there wouldn't be any wires in it. So they get it up and then go to turn it on, nothing, dead. And of course, the power's off in the room. They go to switch it on. Well, then they think, oh, well, they go back to the breaker box and they realize, aha, we didn't actually turn the right breaker back on. So obviously that's the problem, right? Well, yes and no. Flipping the correct breaker, they go to turn the new light on, and flames, sparks, fun time, and even a scream ensues. Not from me, actually. Yeah, and then the fuse, the breaker tripped, blew, which is good. That's what they're supposed to do. If it had not blown, what was trying to become a fire and did actually end up burning through the insulation, which was metal wool type insulation, and started to scorch the wood there, it would have actually caught fire. That said, honestly a minor miracle it didn't. So they pull it down to sea, and guess what happened? Whoever installed that fixture, we're talking 30 some odd, maybe even more years ago, they drilled a hole through the wooden beam and ran the electrical cords through it. So guess what this guy did? Yep, drove a screw right through, pretty much smack dab through electrical wires. And that, boys and girls, is why you always check before you drill holes or dig in the ground. Always. So even though I was kind of making a half-hearted joke and shot in the dark, I was right. He drilled through. To his credit, he said he's no longer comfortable, if he can't fix that, get an actual electrician. So yeah, the power's off in that part of the house, and a fire was averted, yada yada. So that was Sunday, and of course that was Sunday before Labor Day, a weekend. Called a few electricians, and to all their credits, eventually they all called us back, but not immediately. And then we realized that a couple of deep freezers in the garage, that the power was out in that room, which connected to the garage, and the power was out there. So realized that the freezers had no power, so we went and had to find extension cords and engineered a way for the freezers to get power with that. So that happened, and then one of the electricians came over that night to deliver some parts, and he said he'd come over the next day to fix it. So yeah, that was an exciting Sunday out of nowhere. At this point, noticing the house is getting a little warm at night, but then again, my mother is known for keeping it warmer than I like, and where I live in the mountains, it's always a little cooler. So I'm thinking, I'm just in the valley area, and with someone who keeps their thermostat warmer than mine, so that's why I'm hot. Yeah, cue me sleeping literally on top of every cover with basically no clothing on, and the ceiling fan in the room going full blast, plus a box fan. It was quite warm out that day, I will admit, and that night wasn't a lot better. So, Monday morning, I get up early because I'm sweating like hell. Am I getting sick? I don't know. I asked my mother to check the thermostat, and guess what? The air conditioner's off. It has no power. So this is fantastic. Luckily, the electrician guy is coming, and Monday was the day I was going to meet with Fox to both shoot and meet the potentially new contractor at the land to talk about building the cabin / shooting range, what have you. So I also should mention that the first guy who was here on Sunday, the handyman, good-natured guy, former police officer, his wife was a former EMT, I believe. Anywho, they came over to help, and it's just, that's the people doing communities, and honestly, normally, installing a ceiling fan doesn't require anything too much. I had it happen earlier this year in my office room with a friend, so usually it's anything, but that's my luck, our luck as a family, that the usual things never happen. Anyway, when he was here, he had mentioned they were looking for a new mobile home, a new trailer, and they shopped around all over our part of the state, and they found this place about an hour away, and they had by far the best prices, and they were really impressed with how the newer mobile homes looked. And my mother and brother kind of offered, maybe we'll drive there on Tuesday, and I thought, that's a good idea. I'm here. I was originally planning to go home Tuesday, but it turns out my brother had to drive near my house Wednesday for another family member, so it just made sense to extend my trip a day so no one had to make a special trip just for me. It wasn't that big of a deal, so instead of being here 3 days and 2 nights, be here 3 nights and 4 days. No big deal. I thought, so I've got Tuesday to kill. Monday is shooting with Fox. Why not check out the mobile homes? If nothing else, I'm just curious. All the mobile homes I've seen were made in the 70s or 80s. So we kind of make tentative plans to do that. But first, we're going to meet with the potential new builder Monday and go to the range. Will Saturday and Sunday's lucks continue, or will Monday kind of turn a new leaf? So yeah, realizing we have no air conditioner, I'm already kind of hot. And it's a warm day out, high about 90, so nothing too crazy, especially when we're driving out to the mountains to meet. So the new contractor guy is working at my brother's place up the road, and I said, well, you'll know we're here because we're shooting. If you get to a good stopping spot, he was installing a gas line. Come on down, or if you don't, we'll come back up on our way out because it's the way going out. So we get out there, and Fox and I first try a PS90, my PS90 bullpup 5.7, because here a while back I got really excited. Fiocchi has some 40 grain 5.7 by 28 ammo that was really good price for that ammo, like 35 to 40 cents a round delivered. I know that sounds high, but 5.7 ammo lately has been $1 or more a round. And so, without really thinking about it, I bought a bit of ammo, a couple of different cases. However, I got to thinking, American Eagle didn't run into the PS90. God, now that I've already put this much money in this ammo, if it runs, great, but I really hope it runs my PS90. Oh well, too late now, I've already ordered it. So, I'm happy to report it did run perfectly. I kind of inadvertently took a chance, and it worked out. Then we shot some Makarovs, and they all worked out fine. And both of those, of course, will be main Mishaco channel videos. And we're out there in the mountains, and it's actually kind of coming up a little thunderstorm. Clouds are coming in. But that's okay. We needed a little rain, and helps keep things cool. And we had one more gun we wanted to shoot out there before we broke to go have a burger for lunch, and the contractor guy pulled in, so it's a pretty good stopping point. And remember how I said he's a talker. So thunderstorm rolling in, you hear the thunder. I've already felt a couple of drops, and I'm like, hey, kind of talk about this. We might not have a lot of time. Him and my cousin are just chattering away like two magpies. You ever have that with two talkers? And it's no big deal, and they're just hanging on the porch or drinking a beer. But when there's something you need to do and nature is giving you a deadline, my mind is like, okay, business before pleasure. Yeah. Truth is, he didn't even start talking business until the rain's coming. No, Fox and I, luckily, while they're just chatting away, I just load up the guns. We were close to it anyway, and we didn't have a whole spread out, so no big deal. So none of the guns got wet. But, so we're in the truck, and I'm trying to explain, okay, this is what I want, facing north, east, west. And this guy kind of points and goes, oh, over on the right, pointing. I don't know which way right is. Your right, my right, doesn't really matter. Northeast, southwest. I think this guy doesn't know his cardinal directions, which for a contractor is not exactly inspirational. And I had asked him before, I kind of got the sense he was maybe more of a really good handyman. I said, what do you do? And have you ever built a cabin from the ground up? Oh yeah, we built several. I was like, okay, good. So maybe he knows what he's doing. But after kind of explaining what I wanted, I'm like, yeah, can you give me an estimate now? And I know it takes time to put pen to paper and all that. Then he says something kind of strange. He said he's the builder. He doesn't get much involved in the business side of things. I'm thinking, well, if you're a licensed contractor, and I get that maybe your skills more business oriented, but more building oriented, but you can't not be business oriented. It'd be like if I said I'm the gun guy. I do the guns, but I don't really tell you what they're worth, or I don't know how you do that. So I'm like, well, what are we doing here? If you can't even give me, and it'd be one thing if you said, well, I can't do it today, here and now. Let me go home and put pen to paper, and I'll call you back. Cool. And I don't expect a, pinpoint accurate estimation, just something to give me an idea. We're talking 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, 150,000. What are we talking here? Just where are we at? Again, the definition of ballpark. Well, turns out what he likes to do is have the customer buy the material, and then he'll use it and put it together. Say what now? That's great if the customer knows what to buy. And that would be fine if you're like doing a shelf or even like a storage shed type thing. But we were talking designing a house, a cabin, a place for people to live. I wouldn't have the first clue what's needed or not needed. I think you see where this is going. Basically, he just wanted the customer to buy the material, and he would just do by the billable hours. He uses your material and charges you by the hour. It is simple, and I could really understand that working great for certain applications. But a full freestanding structure with heat, water, power, maybe I'm missing something, maybe I'm just wrong, but I don't see how that works. To me, that's part of what a contractor does, is kind of arranging all that for you, because I don't know how to build a house. If I did, then I wouldn't need a contractor. So I never really could get an estimate out of him. And not only would that not work for me, I don't think it'd work for any bank or any other kind of loaning agency or anything, or even insurance or whatever. So he asked me to give him a call, and I will, to be polite. And he may surprise me on the phone call there, but I don't think it's gonna work out, honestly. And guys, I've been trying to nail down contractors for over a year now. People will tell me, "Oh yeah, so and so built his cabin, or so and so had a cabin built. Cool. Give me the name of the person who built it for him." And it keeps getting pushed back. And what I'm starting to realize is these guys building out there, a lot of them aren't doing it to any kind of plan or code or standard. They're just kind of winging it. I'm not really that kind of person. I like to know where we're at, where we're going, and about how long it's going to take to get there. You know what I mean? I don't like those kinds of interesting times. That stuff does irk me. Well, like I said, Sunday, the other guy who was here doing the ceiling fan had mentioned the mobile homes. So that's looking like, well, maybe that'll be worthwhile for the next day. So we get up and head down there, find it no problem, and get in there, and immediately there's a woman there that takes us for a tour. And I gotta admit, just in terms of salesmanship, she's doing already a lot better. She's talking more with me and about the applicable stuff. Of course, she's, running a job. That's fine. But pretty good balance of being a good salesperson without being like a used car salesman stereotype. You know what I mean? Like pushing, not even pushing just enough, but, under pushing it just a bit, being straightforward. At the same time, when I asked her questions about how many square feet or what's this made of, she knew it, or she had paperwork in her hand that gave a good answer. And, miracle of miracles, when she didn't know, she said, "I don't know." You know how rare that's becoming these days, when people just admit they don't know something? Yeah. Anyway, so it was a good interaction. And ended up, I think, going in 6 different mobile homes. And I will say they've changed a good bit. They're still mobile homes. But they're built to a higher standard to better resist tornadoes and hurricanes. Yeah, a couple of decades of trailer parks being blown over or flooded out, has made construction a little more and they're much bigger. The old ones are like 12 feet wide and 40 some odd feet long, and the new ones the smaller ones were 14 by 56, and the bigger ones that we looked at were 16 by 60. I had no reason to look at double wides, because I'm just wanting a cabin structure. And the square footage on the smallest was about 850, and on the largest about 1150, which is actually perfect. We were kind of targeting around 1050 for the cabin, plus a nice ample porch. And all of them had 2 bathrooms. Some had 3 bedroom, some had 2. They all actually had pretty nice kitchens, and they all came fully furnished in terms of devices, utilities, refrigerator, stove, even a microwave, and even a dishwasher. Apparently that's a standard now. The only thing that they did not have, all of them, was a washer and dryer, but they had not only hookups for washer and dryer, but all of them, even the cheaper ones, had a room for it. So yeah, that was pretty good. They still have that, stucco and styrofoam look inside. White walls. I think one of them was more gray. I would have gone more for like wood paneling, but oh well. They did have kind of faux wood hard floor. Only one of them had carpet, and that was only in the master bedroom. And yeah, to be fair, keeping tile, linoleum, whatever clean is better. So I was more impressed than I thought I would be, and I think that was coupled with being a little discouraged with the previous day. But while things are looking up, it's not 100%. Let's go back to Monday for just a minute. Okay, Monday. We were shooting all day. We started, Fox picked me up at 9 a.m. and we shot till, we were out there till about 12:30. Went in, grabbed a burger, went back to his place, and then picked up shooting about 3 p.m. and shot till about 5:30 or 6. And then we recorded some, not table talks exactly, but like lounge talks with us both, kind of talking about our day, our impressions from about 8 to, about 7 to 9. My reason for mentioning this, you're looking at a number of hours of shooting footage. There were 80 files. Of course, some of them are just brief shooting clips, but all in all, I would say the day was right at 12 hours, and of that, a good 5 hours were straight up active recordings. And guess what? Some of the day, it seemed like the sound didn't work. I don't know, sound's just that thing that, it's so annoying. So the good news is the shooting footage was fine. I do attach an external mic, but it's the kind of mic that plugs directly into the GoPro. But the table talk stuff, which lasted about an hour and a half, or maybe at least an hour recording, there was no sound. Which is weird because that new Sennheiser boom mic has been bulletproof, and I've used it for hours upon hours. Technically, I've run it for days. It's just been a really, really reliable device. So what the heck's going on? But the way the weekend's going, the fact that all the guns ran reliably Monday, and nothing blew up on our face, and nothing was forgotten. We had plenty of ammo. The weather stayed good, even if there was a little rain kicking up in the middle of the day. All that, I knew something had to go wrong. Well, at first when I played the files, and it was just dead air. But then I tried again and realized very, very faintly there's some sound. Turns out, long story short, the microphone's input volume, the boom mic I should say, was turned down low. The button on the side got hit. If I hadn't been so tired, I would have double checked it, but it's never been hit before. It's pretty recessed and designed to not be easily knocked about, but anything can happen when you're traveling. And so I can't blame Sennheiser, I can't blame GoPro, I can blame Misha. That was me. I should have double checked. Normally I would have, but again, long day, tired, and I've got to where I think I put a little too much trust in that boom mic because it's been so dependable. Oh well. So I'm thinking, okay, there is sound, but it's very quiet. Can it be salvaged? So at like midnight, I called J-Ro to see if he's still up. He is. I was like, hey man, I'm going to send you over one of these files. I'm going to just make it, small so I can send it over quick. Think you can clean this audio up. So he works on that, and then Tuesday he sends me over just like a sample, just a WAV file, not the edited video. And yeah, he was able to clean it up. There's a noticeable hiss. It doesn't sound fantastic, but you can hear clearly what Fox and I are saying, even if it's kind of annoying. It kind of sounds like listening to an old VHS tape, you know what I mean? But considering it was well over an hour's worth of footage that required 2 people, I'll be honest, if it was just footage that I recorded, I'd just re-record it. But it really wasn't worthwhile to redo it if we could salvage it, because that would mean Fox would have to take time off work, and I only had one more day left in town anyway. So yeah, J-Ro rescued me there. So there'll be 2, 3, maybe 4 videos over on the Mishaco channel where the last 10 minutes of each video is kind of less than stellar sound, but bad sound's better than no sound. The nice thing is, because the error was just low volume, it's a constant hum / slight hiss in the background, not static or, revving engines or other annoying crap. So that was the goof Monday's recording. Would it surprise you to know there's a bit of an issue too with the mobile home search look Tuesday? My expectations were exceeded, but mostly because they were very low. Unfortunately, the price exceeded too. Now, I didn't go under this blind. Sunday, when the guy was here, he said that they were $40,000. Well, his wife said, no, actually it was 46. I've noticed that's something people do with numbers and money a lot, kind of downplaying it. 40 something, okay, 40,000, okay, 46 makes sense. And they said it has everything in there. So we get there. First off, the cheapest one they have is $5,000. And he had said they had some more expensive than 46. I said, are they like different features, do anything more? He goes, oh no, they just have nicer trim and all this. It's like, okay, then I don't see a reason to pay 10 or 20,000 more for just nicer, posher trim. Well, we get there, and there's a major difference between that and that, from size to just features of the home, type of bathroom. And so now cost is creeping up. I guess the next one after the intro one that I liked decently was around $61,000. And then the one I really liked was $67,000. So yeah, $20,000 plus more than what he said. And this cost creep has been happening all the time with this whole project. Initially, my brother thought I could do it, a simple cabin with, a bedroom or 2 and, plumbing, for $30,000-$35,000. Well, he's not a contractor. The first contractor, the one that screwed him and left me holding the bag, originally said about $40,000. Then after we sketched it all out and he saw what I really wanted, he said, okay, $45,000, there you go. And I knew from the beginning that didn't include the stove, things like that. And I figured it really wouldn't include some final finishing touches like the flooring. But I kind of expected the bones to be there. Well, as it kind of turned out, he meant just literally up it to the dry. No windows installed, presumably no door frames installed, no interior walls, or at least, completed interior walls. Certainly no flooring installed, just the bare. You know what I mean? In no way a livable thing. In my mind, not a half-complete thing. And we're already at $45,000. So what's it going to cost to finish it out? Probably twice that. And that creep just keeps going. And that's kind of what happened with the mobile home situation. When they first said, okay, 40, I was like, that's not bad for all furnishings. And to be fair. They had all the appliances. And then it turned into 46, okay. And then 5, and 61. And then the one that was really quite nice was 67. It actually originally had been 63, but then they had some updates to the model, which turned it into 67. I would say I've been nickeled and dimed, but that's more than nickels and more than dimes. And that's what I keep running into. Every time I think I have it narrowed down into something that I can afford and would be comfortable with, it never ends up staying that price. And I get that materials are high and all that, but I'm going to be honest. If I knew this was going to be a $70,000, $80,000 project, I don't know if I would even have started it. Because here's the deal. What I can afford and what I want to afford and am willing to pay are different things. Because this isn't my primary residence. This isn't a need. This is a want. What I can afford, strictly could afford, is immaterial. And I don't want to be cheap about it, but if I can't do this for what I feel reasonable, good deal, I don't think I would enjoy myself. You know what I mean? I can't take half our savings and put it into my, going out to have fun place. It doesn't track. Yeah. Now, a flip to that is if I maybe turned it into part-time Airbnb, which is really popular out there, or something else where it generated its own money to at least pay for itself, that would be more. But if I'm going to put that kind of money into something, it needs to be a good investment. You know what I mean? It needs to be a wise place to put my money. And that's really why I'm at the dilemma now. Building a structure, a cabin out of wood is a good investment. On the flip side, it's going to be probably the most expensive. A custom project, everything has to be done, nothing's prefab. But of course, if you can suck up the money, it's probably a good investment and will appreciate. Conversely, a mobile home, presumably also some of the more prefab but non-mobile types, they are cheaper for sure by a good bit, maybe half the price for more size. But then you get into the depreciation like an automobile. So that sucks. Now, of course, how much do they depreciate, and would it matter if you use it and enjoy it? And would someone still want to Airbnb literally a brand new mobile home or prefab home out there? I don't know. They still might bring money. I mean, people rent all kinds of stuff, but I know a cabin is more likely to attract it. Both, of course, would need maintenance and to be cared for over the years, or they will deteriorate. There's nothing there. And while mobile homes have their own issues, made structures do too. If the boards aren't cured properly, if there's green wood, and especially if you've got one-off people like some of those hillbillies out there that seem to be building, that's just kind of asking for it. You're going back to Sunday again with that wiring. While the guy drilling a hole through the wire definitely didn't help matters, when the electrician, the actual professional electrician, came to fix it, he noted that whoever had done the electrical work decades ago did a slapdash, frankly, good old boy job of doing it. So it was not done right in the beginning. So frankly, it's a wonder it hadn't generated a fire already, frankly. And I'm just not about that. I'm more of a do things right, not the whole good enough mentality. Yeah, because usually that comes to bite you in the butt. What do you think? What point is good enough? And so everywhere kind of has their issues. Mobile homes depreciate, and it's a mobile home. But then again, getting a less than, advanced contractor or experienced contractor has its own issues too. In fact, after that, after getting back from our impromptu trip to the mobile home hotspot, I decided to call my longtime bank lender and see if he had office time, and he did. So instead of doing a phone chat, just went over and visited in person while I was nearby. And while many people said they don't loan on trailers and mobile homes, honestly, he said they'd loan on that just as well as anything else. In fact, while he, warned me of the pitfalls of mobile homes, many have already kind of outlined to you, he seemed equally, if not even more concerned about fly-by-night contractors who either wouldn't finish a job or wouldn't do a job the way you wanted, or will just do a job, but then it's going to fall apart in 2 years with a major problem, and they're nowhere to be found. There's no kind of warranty. So we kind of went over the pros and cons of each, and my budget, and kind of what I'm willing to spend, or if I'm even still willing to do it. Is it worthwhile? I don't rightly know, but I know I've got to put a hard ceiling on what I'm willing to spend. Otherwise, it's just going to go out of control, and it's not worth it. There's other places to put that level of money. The question is where to cap it out at. Because originally, I was kind of led to believe that I could do this for $30,000 to $40,000. Now, of course, we're not talking other things like the land or wells or septic tanks or electricity. I just mean the structure itself. I'm being realistic, and of course I don't mean the stuff inside the structure, beds and all that. That has to be done. But I was led to believe that I could have a ready-to-go living structure for that. And of course it just keeps ballooning there and there and there. And again, kind of the same thing with mobile homes. Last year my brother's like, oh, you can go get one for $30,000. Years ago you might have been able to do that, but it's not been that way for a long time. And then I realized a lot of people aren't good with numbers in their heads. So I don't know. Am I disheartened? Honestly, no, I'm not that far, but I'm cautious at this point. Again, I know that if I were to overspend and get into this too deep, I would not be happy with it. I'd be kicking myself. I have to do this for a sum of money that makes me feel glad. Can I do that? At this point, I honestly do not know. But what can we do? First, I will say I don't think building from scratch is going to work. I think no matter how we cut it, the cost of labor right now, and just the kind of people I've run into around here, I know. Now, would I trust them to do like an add-on, a new room, or building me a deck or porch? Heck yeah. That seems kind of what their level is at. A garage, a storage room, something like that. Building a full structure, plumbing, electricity, insulation, all by itself, I just don't know if they're really quite up to that. And the worst thing would be sink $40,000-$50,000 into it, realize you're not even halfway done, and oopsie, it's going to cost well over $100,000. And at that point, you've got to finish it. A half completed place isn't going to help anything. It's literally wasted money, and if you don't hurry up and complete it, it's going to fall apart on itself and truly be wasted money. That is terrifying and unacceptable. I don't see how straight up just building it, unless I just happen to meet the right person, which again over a year just doesn't seem to be happening. Yeah. So that kind of gets me to some type of prefab thing. Now there are some in-betweens before going straight to mobile homes. Metal buildings, shop buildings that people finish out and put dividers in. That's one. But I'm not sure I want to have a place with metal walls and a concrete floor. And if we put walls in to make it, yeah. Plus, they don't typically have great windows, and I don't know. Maybe again though, because I didn't think mobile homes would be that great, and they felt better than I. Maybe if I see a converted one, it can, convince me. There are some other ones that seem to be kind of built from prefab parts that are configured the way you want, but I can't get much of a line on who does them, but I need to look into that. And then there also seem to be some that are essentially pre-built structures that they haul off on a trailer and drop on to your land, which is really getting quite back to mobile homes, just not quite with the wheels and everything. And I don't know what either of those two run. They might be cheaper, they might be more, I don't know. But I guess I am kind of getting tired of looking, and kind of getting let down or sticker shocked. I'd sure like to have a game plan. I really, really would. I really, really want to do that before the end of September. Even if I don't finish it, I at least want to have an idea where we're going and what it's going to cost me. Or realize I just cannot do it for what I'm willing to spend. That's unfortunately something that I have to consider. And so it goes. I mean, and again, this is a want, not a need. So, perspective. So those are the in-betweens. And yeah, the mobile home, something I was absolutely dead set against a year ago. I'm still not 100% sold on it, but I'm considering it now. To be honest, I see, in terms of functionality, I could be completely comfortable and happy in one. What made me less happy is the depreciation, the investment, or rather lack thereof, in potential there. I hate putting that kind of money into something that I know will depreciate. That's why I don't think, even if I could see, I'd buy super high-end cars. I just don't like that. On the other hand, I have no problem putting money high-end guns, that kind of thing, because I know that they'll hold value and even go up a bit, and sometimes a lot. And a built cabin would do that, but not at the cost of being triple what I originally thought I was going to pay. That just doesn't seem great to me. So at this point, I don't know. Hanging in there. Things certainly got better after the weekend. And I can't say Monday or Tuesday were busts. I mean, there were highlights to both, but there wasn't a definitive answer like I was really hoping to get sometime soon. I was really hoping to just kind of click with either the contractor, or if I figure out, hey, I like these mobile homes and they're $45,000 and I can swing that. They're tantalizingly close, the mobile homes, to acceptable price tag. If I could get either the basic one for closer to $40,000, or the one I actually rather liked for about $55,000, I would probably be tempted enough to jump into that, depreciation or not. Because I think at that point I would look at it as just a car. Which, I don't have a car, so that could be my car. But more than that, I mean, I can't see that I'd ever spend $70,000 on a car for myself, no matter what. And that's what's so annoying. It's sometimes I look at it and I go, well, that's a good price. And the other times I think that's too much money. They're right on that line, right on that cusp that is driving me crazy. And it's kind of causing me a bit of cognitive dissonance there. But what do you think? And has anyone out there had any of the newer, say, maybe the last 5 years, mobile homes? Do they hold up well, or do they turn into utter shite? I don't know. I mean, I know you get what you pay for, and that can never be dismissed. On the other hand, the more time that takes up, the less time I'm going to get to spend out there. If I never sit down and make a finalized decision, nothing will ever happen. And I'm aware of that too. I've already lost a year and a half at this. How much more time am I willing to lose? Or am I willing just to walk away from it altogether? It's kind of where I'm at. I will say this, I'm not going to buy something I'm not happy with. I'm not going to settle just because, oh, well, it's cheap. I don't like the look of it, I don't like the feeling, but it's cheap enough. No. Again, this is a want, so it has to be a place that I like the layout of, I'm comfortable in, and I'm kind of proud to show people. If I'm not those things, then, screw it. It's not worth it. But, going out to shoot Monday really did highlight the need for us having a structure out there. Like I said, it came up a rain. It would be nice just to have a place to go into. We got hungry. Instead of driving into town to get a burger, it would have been nice just to cook something for ourselves. And also, when we go out right now, we have to bring our targets, chairs, things like that every time. Just having a place out there that has the basic essentials ready to go. So all we have to bring out are the guns and the ammo. You could even, of course, leave spare ear pro out there for guests, because time before last, I guess, forgot his ear pro. And aside from trying to think about giving him some pine nuts to shove in his ear, what was I going to do? So it would definitely make shooting more productive and more comfortable and just more flexible to have something out there. But I haven't looked into those quote-unquote tiny homes, and that's not that. No, they're not cheaper than anything else. I really don't see the point. That's just it. The moment you have a structure with power, electricity, sewage, you're just already crossing a threshold. So you might as well make it a couple of bedrooms and worthwhile, because even the studio apartment look with essentially one big room and a bathroom is probably 60 to 70,000 just in and of itself, and that's not worth it. That's not what I want. I want an area with some privacy, and also that I can have guests at, and they can have privacy. And like I said, or I could maybe rent out on occasion when I'm not using it. Oh, one suggestion that two people have made, fully knowing that I'm blind, is why don't you get an RV? What? And they said, well, people will drive you. Not the same person. The plan isn't to have someone drive me down and I drive back with them. Actually, the plan will probably end up being that someone drives me down, they leave, someone else picks me up, I go back, blah, blah, blah. I'm not offended, but it is kind of funny that a couple of people have had this idea. I just don't think they're thinking it through fully. That is the absolutely worst idea. For one thing, an RV is not any cheaper than other stuff. You guzzle gas like a motherfucker. And my wife in a million years would never drive one, especially on those hilly mountain roads. And anyone else too. And what if someone had a wreck driving my RV? I'd have to have insurance on all drivers, which is really expensive. No. That is one that I have definitively and completely and forever ruled out. That is not what's happening. I'm not even completely ruled out wood-built structure, although it's kind of getting less and less likely. At this point, it's either looking like a metal building that's going to be finished out, or a prefab building, or maybe a mobile home. I need more information on the other ones, or maybe to find a slightly better deal on a mobile home. I hate to get a used one, but maybe there can be a Blim demo or something that just has some wear but nothing. I don't know. Maybe the right one will come my way. So the search will continue. And we're not quite yet done with this video. We'll probably have one more update. Alrighty, here I am back at the place I began. I did miss my swing. Funny how when you travel, even to family and friends' places, they typically don't have yard swings or porch swings. People should rectify that. Oh well, at least Fox has enough sense to always make sure there's a lazy boy chair wherever I'm at. So, yeah, we've already talked about how the trip kind of went while I was there with an update. I thought about doing one every day, but honestly, a couple of those nights I was just so dog tired, and the trip started off so rough, but ended pretty good. Came home today, woke up, didn't really do much, got packed. Actually, my ride was early, but I was already 90% packed, so ended up getting on the road earlier and got home a couple hours before originally intended. Was going to have dinner with a couple of family members and then be home by 6, but we were so early I just said, you know what, just drop me off home and I'll owe you, give you an IOU for dinner next time. So got home about 3:30 and that was okay. Gave me time to unpack and start to unwind a bit. I should also mention that while Monday was reasonably cool down there, Tuesday and Wednesday, which is today when I record this, were essentially 100 degrees. In the sun, if you looked in your car, it was 100. Even checking online, it was showing 96, 97. Luckily, while the temperature was the same at my home Monday as down there, a storm came through here while I was gone last night, and the temperature has dropped over 10 degrees. So I left a place that was still hot and humid, and actually it's very pleasant out here, in the 70s, I'd say. I think the high today was only in the mid 80s, so I'll take the nicer weather. But yeah, it was warm down there for a couple of days, but we did end up shooting on the best day that we were gonna get. So yeah, recording this 5 days after the first bit. It's kind of a day in my life, or a life in my week, or however you want to say it. During the interim, Jamie Buffett died. Also the dude from Smash Mouth. And a local person that actually did my taxes for 20 years. So that sucked. But, how it goes, I suppose. Funny how things kind of change over time. I came back home and nothing catastrophic seems to have happened in my absence. And I didn't forget anything. I'm actually very impressed that I packed everything I need. I thought surely because of how tired and annoyed I was packing Saturday that I'd forget something, especially being gone for 4 days. But no, never noticed anything I needed and didn't have when I was down there. And now that I'm back home, it's kind of irrelevant. So if I forgot something, I forgot to forget it. So a little bit of food for thought. Kind of let it rest and get back to work. Had some models come in, some from Eagle Moss, Master Replicas, and then some from Hobby Master. So put those together and do new videos. It might be a little while before I do another big deep dive video because those take a lot out of me, and I've got to do my own catch up at work and whatnot. But I'll do some shorter videos and what have yous. And we recorded at least a couple of weeks worth of content for the Mishaco channel and put up the first of those videos, mostly because it was the one that was ready to go. The other ones are going to require a little work. Like I said, the sound got a little goofed on the last section for 3 other videos, but Jero, get it fixed up, be alright. But no, all in all, a pretty successful trip as far as that goes. And kind of back to the daily life. On the one hand, daily routine can get a little dull and monotonous, but on the other, there's, at least to me, something very reassuring about a set schedule. Plus, I do like being in my own house where my own stuff's at, and my own bed, my own food, and just my stuff. And when I'm gone, I can't do things. Sometimes when I'm just sitting around here, I just get a wild hankering to do a video or pull something out and can do it. But traveling, you can't. Of course, the real question is how long before my cat forgives me for being gone. Yep, most of the cats greeted me, but there's one that always is rather perturbed at me for leaving, especially for more than a couple of days. She'll get over it, and then she won't leave me alone for a few days. But how's all your weeks been? How'd you spend Labor Day? Everything worked fine. even though Saturday the laptop and my desktop were being weird, the laptop worked fine the whole time I was down there. The new headphones I picked up last month. This is kind of the first time I put them on a full use thing, and they held up fine. It's amazing how much better battery life the newer Bluetooth stuff has, because when Bluetooth came out, the battery life was not fantastic, but no, these are fine. Yep. Not much more to say. Just tired. Go in, got laundry to do, and emails to check, and all that good stuff. But wanted to kind of give an update. Didn't know how the trip would go, and so even though there were a few rocky moments, all's well that ends well, right? With that, I appreciate you hanging out. You can hear the train in the background there coming through. But yeah, check out other videos. I've put out quite a few airplane videos recently, and there'll be fresh videos over on the Mishaco channel, 2 or 3 a week as usual for the next little while. We got a good chunk of work done. Yep. Alrighty, I'm beat. I'm gonna call it one. Go grab a shower and unwind for the evening. But again, hope everyone's doing well, and hopefully it stays cool here and cools off wherever you're at, and we have a nice autumn. I love autumn and fall. It's the best time of year when we get real weather, at least. This is Misha. Catch you very soon. Next time.